Well, welcome everyone to the University of Wisconsin-Madison full-time MBA Consortium panel webinar. I think there's going to be a really interesting discussion about the benefits of the consortium, as well as what you'll find when you come here as a consortium student. The nice thing is we have a panel of current students, and we're going to visit with them, but just quickly some background on the consortium. I think what's important to say is that UW-Madison was one of the 3 founding members of the consortium, and that shows for a long time our commitment to doing the right thing and to of the mission of the consortium. The consortium, as you may know, links top-tier students with MBA programs to advance the representation of African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Native Americans in member schools enrollments and in global business management. Schools supply the merit-based full tuition fellowships to MBA prospects attending those member schools, and also provides early access to partners recruiting leaders for internship jobs, and help you maintain a vast network of students, alumni, along with the member schools. All right, so got a great panel here today of current students. You can see their year they're graduating and their specialization. So let's just get started, Connie, and then let's go down the line here. You all just want to tell us your background before coming to the MBA and kind of your goals as to where you want to go.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here, Randy. I am very happy to be the first. Unfortunately, I did not bring my consortium shirt. I'm really sorry. So okay. I have 8 years of experience in consumer goods and services. Since my passion is project management and learning new things, I focus most of my career on running startups and brands in 3 different countries and 3 different industries. So after working small business for a while, I realized that I really want to understand how to scale up and different areas in business. So that's why I applied to Wisconsin, this great school through Consortium. After I graduate, my goal is to be a consultant. So that's why I'm here.
Awesome, thank you. Nicole, do you want to go next?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole Menares. I am in the marketing department, but I am specializing in marketing, analytics, and insights. My career before coming to Wisconsin was in consumer insights and marketing research. That was a niche that I found that I loved. And so I started out in consumer packaged goods out in Utah, and then I moved towards more of a tech company out in New York. But my goals with an MBA was to, one, get a better, more holistic view of the business operations of what goes on in a company and how my specific function within insights, because that's what I wanted to master, how it would affect everything. And so my goals are to eventually lead out an insights function within a corporate role.
Nice. All right. Andrew, or no, I'm sorry, Alexis.
So my turn.
Yeah.
So a little bit about me is what makes me who I am is that I grew up a military kid. So I traveled every 2 to 3 years, and that really helped me figure out, what is my learning agility like, and, my passion for people and meeting people from all different backgrounds and kind of finding those little similarities. So as a career, I spent 5 years in supply chain management at General Motors. And I started to realize I wanted more, again, that people-facing aspect, but I also wanted to combine what I loved about, data and tracing back orders and understanding the story behind data with people. So for me, Wisconsin was a perfect fit because they had the strategic HR specialization where I could absolutely do that with the amazing people on this panel and kind of build those relationships and learn as much as I can in order to put more people like us in organizations at every level, right? So that's kind of my purpose and why I'm here.
Okay. Andrew.
All right, I guess I'll close things out. Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
My name is Andrew Shaw. I am a second-year MBA candidate specializing in risk management and insurance. And prior to coming back to school full-time, I spent the previous 10 years working as a health and safety professional. And And throughout my career, as I began to progress, I realized that being that I was in such a specific role in an industry, my advancement opportunities began to become more limited. So I knew I had to add to my skill sets, as well as broaden my network outside of the industry I was working within, and just throughout self-reflection and researching different opportunities, I ended on, hey, the MBA is the best way to maybe pivot out of this situation, add to those skills, add to my network, and as I continue to figure out what my ultimate goals are. And that's what led me here to UW Madison.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, each of you. Now, does anyone want to share what you see the benefits of applying through the consortium or being part of the consortium? As anyone, you know, go ahead and jump in, anyone.
I can jump in. I would say the two benefits of being part of the consortium is first, you kind of get to meet your friend group early before school starts. So if you have any questions, or, you know, maybe you guys have the same concerns, you have that person already before the year starts. And I needed that piece of community before starting an MBA so that I would feel comfortable and confident. And you could tell once we started orientation, because we kind of were comfortable with our consortium group, it made it easier for the rest of the class to approach us and say, hey, you know, you guys are a fun group. Let me talk to you. So it kind of helped break the ice on that first day.
Yeah.
The second benefit I would definitely say is getting your internship, having that visibility to companies in the summer was so key to not only preparing me professionally, but even securing my job again before the year even started.
Okay. Anyone else?
I absolutely agree with Alexis. So we met each other in April, way before the school started. We went through the interview process, boot camp all together, and we were lucky enough to have Andrew and a lot of second years helping us going through the interview processes. So we're not really scared or terrified. I was lucky enough to go through the consortium career fair in the summer and locked in quite a few offers. I was very fortunate as a mom of two and going through MBA. Now I can balance my life and school very well compared to other people who are scrambling time trying to do interview right now. So that for me is a huge benefit. Of course, having that community is great. I mean, all my consortium teammates are volunteer to babysit for my kids. I can't thank them enough.
Super, super. Anything you'd like to add, Andrew or Nicole?
Yeah, I can definitely add and echo both what Alexis and Connie has said. I think, yeah, one of the biggest benefits that I see is that, yeah, you get the jump start on everything. You get the jump start on networking. You're introduced not only to your consortium cohort at UW-Madison, but you are also connected with the consortium cohorts across the 21 member schools. And you get to meet these folks before the stressful times begin when classes start in the fall. So you have the entire summer to be introduced to these folks, establish those relationships, and that just carries on over the next 2 years. And also, in addition to the networking, it's like Alexis had mentioned, you get to recruit before classes even begin. And many of us had the opportunity to secure internships before classes begin and don't have to deal with studying for midterms and other exams while also interviewing at the same time. So it's a huge benefit.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go into this. I know the consortium orientation program was online the last couple years, but would anyone like to share some highlights of that program?
Yes, I can kick this one off. Yeah, so I was in OP, or I participated in OP 2 summers ago, and it was right after the pandemic hit. So many organizations were scrambling to figure out how to host things online. So our OP was in a state, I would say, less structured than the previous year's class. But even with that being the case, there were many positives. Being that we had an opportunity to to prep our mock interviews. We're still being connected with these 50 employers, even though the web platform may not have been the best. Making those connections once again before class started was a huge benefit, because even though the platform itself may not have been the best, we were able to kind of keep the conversation going on LinkedIn, on external platforms such as Zoom or whatever, and just making those connections were a huge benefit.
I can jump in
Sure.
and kind of talk about the year after. So with a lot of experimenting and learning, like a lot of organizations, we did have a better platform. So I'm sure by now everybody's familiar with Hopin. Hopin is great because you can host kind of the different sessions and where they're more interactive, and, you know, presenting is, you know, a lot more user-friendly for the companies and for us as attendees. I will say a benefit of having a huge conference online is that in those breaks where you would normally be meeting people in the hallways and chit-chatting, you can kind of take a 5-minute break to recoup your, you know, take a breath and say, okay, let me take a mental, you know, break from everything that's happening. And then, you know, the next workshop, you can jump back in right away and be on, right? Where in person, you can't really do that. You have to be on every single moment. So I would say that's definitely a benefit of it being virtual. And Hopin was cool because, again, we didn't have that piece to really network unless it was really, really intentional. There was a speed networking function in Hopin. So it was cool that I was able to meet other consortium students from other schools and just chat it up for 3 minutes and connect on LinkedIn and, you know, still stay in touch with them today as we plan our consortium trips and, you know, other get-togethers in the future.
Terrific. Anyone else, or should I move to the next question here?
I just want to add one thing about our OP. I learned a lot about companies. All of them talk about their DEI initiatives that really help me make decisions on which company I should target. Another plus thing was I met a lot of candidates from other schools if we formed small groups to practice case interviews consulting, which was a great help. So because of that, I actually got an offer from a consulting firm.
Okay. All right.
And I'll just add real quick with that piece that Connie mentioned, is with it being online, you can skim like who was there as far as who's studying the same specialization, or, you know, who's interested in what company, where in person, you really have to put in the footwork and really meet people. So that was definitely a benefit of it being virtual.
Okay. All right, let's shift gears a little. You know, as an underrepresented minority student at a predominantly white institution, how has your MBA experience been? And you know, be honest, you know, share anything that you'd like to share.
I'll start.
All right, go ahead, Nicole. Yeah.
You know, it's been a great experience so far. I do wish that there were more students, that I had more peers that looked like me.
Yeah.
And so I always advocate for the Wisconsin program, especially within the Nielsen Center, my specialization. And I always tell people about Consortium to come through it, and that you have a great opportunity to get scholarships and to get help as you go through your MBA. So something that I'm really grateful for here as we go through the program, where it's predominantly white, I do have my network, my group of Consortium fellows who will do study groups together. We did that a lot in our first year together as we went through the core. Those were our groups. We did homework, we studied together, we cried together. You go through the stress together. And I think having that fellowship with my consortium peers, people who I felt really comfortable with, because I could share my culture with them, etc. That's something that's been really helpful as I go through the Wisconsin program.
All right. Anyone else?
As a minority who's been living in Madison for 3 years, and I I don't feel alone because I see that I am an advocate for my culture and the consortium group as well. We can learn from each other in a bigger class and try to learn different perspectives, helping each other understand what is really going on in the minority groups. How can we better our DEI initiatives from every level within the company, within our school. I made a lot of great friends, and I understand a lot of why, let's say in Wisconsin, there are a lot more people with different political views, like why they're coming from that way. So we can really try to understand each other. I think this would translate well into the bigger organization. You have people from different point of view. This is a great place to practice.
Okay. Well, how would any of you describe the community within Granger and the Wisconsin School of Business in relation to underrepresented students? Any thoughts on that in the community that you find here?
Yeah, I can take a stab at that. I would say the community in Granger has been very welcoming. I would say that the Badger brand is like everybody is truly rooting for everyone else. And even if you don't necessarily understand somebody's perspective, it's that piece of like, okay, but I want to listen. I want to learn before I react, where I feel like my experience in corporate America has been, if I don't agree with their perspective, I'm going to tell you why you need to believe what I believe. I think in that school environment, it's that benefit of people are more willing to listen, they're more open-minded. And I'll say something that I learned about myself so far is just reinforcing, not making assumptions about people, right? So something as little as music, I'll give this example. Oh, Alexis, what's your favorite, who's your favorite artist? In my brain, I'm thinking, oh, you probably don't know them, but I love J. Cole. And then the person goes, oh my gosh, did you hear his latest album? It's amazing. And it's like, remember, people are not just, one layer. We have so many layers to each other. And it's just a matter of connecting or finding those things that you guys truly have in common that you wouldn't know from looking at somebody else or seeing them in one certain setting. So I think that's important to keep in mind, at school or wherever you are, right? So I would say it's definitely a collaborative community, and we're all rooting for each other. We all want each other to win, and we look out for each other as well.
Super.
Yeah, I can add in as well. And I definitely agree that the environment here at Granger is very welcoming. One of the things I appreciate with the MBA program here is that it is a smaller program, right? And I think the smaller program being more intimate creates a lot more touch points across like both classes with our different, interacting with each other, creates more opportunities for us to learn more about each other. In comparison, I have some friends at other programs, even within the consortium network, which may be larger programs. And what I see is that within those larger programs, folks begin to kind of just fall into like your cliques. You kind of fall into like your groups because like if there's 500 plus people, you kind of just fall into your group. But within our program, with it being smaller, when we have events like, hey, we're all going to talk to each other, and it creates those opportunities for us to discuss different music, different artists, and different foods and whatnot. And those conversations continue on down to State Street and into the restaurants or into grabbing lunch together or dinner or whatever. And I think that that's been one of the big benefits that I've appreciated, am appreciative of here at Wisconsin.
Okay, terrific. Any other comments? We'll also
go ahead.
If anyone listening has a question, please feel free to put your question in the Q&A, and we'll have one of our panelists address it. And I apologize, I stepped on someone there. So whoever it was, please go ahead.
Nicole, you want to go ahead first?
Sure. Okay. I'll add that within Granger, it's very collaborative, like they said, but also I think just being a Badger from the business school, when you go out and reach out to alumni, it's a very welcoming community as well. Every single Badger alum that I have talked to or connected with, they are so willing to help. They're rooting for you, even outside your specialization. If they see on your resume or you're wearing a t-shirt and you're a Badger, it's this automatic connection. That's something that I saw over my internship as well with McDonald's, and having a consortium Badger connection as well. I think for me, I experienced that over the summer at my company, and that helped me with my final project of being able to share it out to more senior leadership teams. And that was because we connected on being Badgers and also part of the consortium. So it was just immediate connection. There was immediate comfort, and we could talk more candidly than if we weren't part of that connection. So I think being a Badger in general, you have so many great connections with alumni. Everyone's rooting for you, like Alexis said. Everyone's so willing to help, and being part of the consortium as well. If you are an alum from that, that's an even bigger and better, warmer connection as well.
All right.
So one thing I want to mention is that Badger is our bigger family. Throughout my application process, Randy actually remembered that I was pregnant, I was having kids. So in every little email, he mentions
had a lot going on,
family. I know it was a crazy time. And I actually found out that I got into school the day I delivered my second child. So everyone within this school remember that I was going through this. They were very helpful. They were all rooting for me. And I'm a curious person. I love a small program. Whenever I have a question, not just to my director, also in every different department, if I have a questions, they're happy to help. They're happy to answer. They're happy to connect me to someone else. So I do love this listener network. I call home. Yes.
Super.
Behind Connie's back, we call her Superwoman.
Well, all right. Thank you so much for the honest from the heart responses. We don't have any questions this time, so let's work on wrapping this up. I have a few other things here. Not much. Let's go to the last slide. I hope if you've listened to this or were attending, I hope the information, you've learned a little and got to hear from our students and their voices. I think choosing the right program for you when you're looking at an MBA program is a big decision, and it's got to be, the right one. So I would encourage you, if you're listening to this, to connect with us as you go through the process to make sure we're a good fit for you. And you can do that by scheduling a 30-minute consultation, and those can take place on the phone or over Zoom. We can do campus visits, virtual campus visits. So, do that. Listen to some of our other podcasts. You can find how to schedule a consult or a campus visit on our webpage. Thank you for spending time of your day. And to each of you, Alexis, Connie, Nicole, Andrew, I really appreciate you taking some moments out of your busy MBA day to share your stories. I thank you very much. Hope I got everybody in there, and have a great rest of your semester. Good luck on your exams coming in a few weeks, as I understand it. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Randy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Randy.